Music, where are you? There you are. Cardio. Shuffle. Oh, that's what I haven't done yet. Boys seem to like the girls who laugh at anything. The ones who get undressed before the second day. This is a good song, but we need something to get us moving faster. There we go. All right, core fitness, it's going to be hip day. Let's stand on up and warm up. Pressing through your feet. Rolling those shoulders back. Step a little wide and just sway it side to side. Don't think too much about it. We just want to warm up first. Start your tracker if you haven't yet. All right, little lift of the knee. Bounce in your thighs. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Little jog. Take those arms up. Push the ceiling. A little lean, let it get soft. Shake it out. Nice and wide. Go ahead and lift your pelvic floor up like you're pulling up a string. And Pilates scoop in. Pelvic clock. We're going 6 o'clock, neutral. 12 o'clock, neutral. You can bend your knees on the 12 o'clock, neutral. 6, 12, 6, 12, 6, 12, 6, 12, 6, neutral, 12, 6, add your arms and your chest. Keeping those shoulders down. Arms down, bend your knees, tuck it forward. Think about carving it out, hollowing it out. Hollow, hollow. So you want to use your rectus abdominis, those vertical muscles, to pull up on the pubic bone while you're holding in your transversus abdominis, letting your back go back. All right, hold that position. We're going to send the hips over to your right and the chest to your left. Check everything's still pulled in, and let's rotate left, 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 left. Doesn't have to be big as long as it's precise. Arms up. Good, 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 good. And bring it up. Remember, if you felt that in your back instead of your front, it means you've arched back too much. So err on the side of curling it over towards the front of your body. So my torso is definitely in front a little bit. Yeah? Oh, that seems like it wasn't quite the right instruction. Let me reword that. If you're down here too far forward, you're going to feel your back working, but you want your hips tucked underneath so that you feel your oblique muscles working. So you want to move your hips forward and your chest open up. So this bottom shoulder leans out maybe, but the chest is pointing up. There we go. Come on through. Whew, let's go ahead and do some monster rocks. Remember our monster walks, we want to keep the hands in just because they're not going to let us lean out to counterbalance, and we're going to drop our weight straight down, still lifting up through the pelvic floor, hollowing out. We're going to step wide diagonally and together. And wide and together. Stay low. Knee and toe stays together. Hollowing it in. Sorry, I'm wearing the wrong shaped shirt for this activity. See if I can tie it in a knot for you so you can see where my scoop is. Good, we're gonna come to the front of your mat. We're gonna make sure both knees are forward, and I'm going to shift to one leg and lift the knee. Bump, 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 switch. Knee straight forward. 6. And over. Switch. Now straight standing leg. Hips are still parallel to the floor. You probably will feel the urge to lift this hip up. Don't do it. Keep them parallel to the floor. So our shoulders and hips are one rectangle. Straightening that bottom leg. If you're working on your pirouettes in my dance class, same activity. We're going to come over to one leg. Hips are even. Tuck that knee in tight. Lift the thigh up without lifting the hip. Shift. This is great prep for your pirouettes. Hollow out that core. Chest reaches forward. Good. Sit way back in a squat. Let your back be a little diagonal. Check your knees and toes are straight forward. Give yourself a little side to side. With twist. No twist. Flat back. 2, 3, 4. Drop arms, squeeze your shoulder blades back, shoulder blade pinch. Drop your chin slow. Shake out your head. And now, bring your head into that flat back. Good. Oh, walk it forward. Open up your hips for a moment. Pull it back up. Bear walks. Remember, you're pulling your pelvic floor and your core in. And we're going to walk over to the edge of that creek. And be like, salmon. Walk it back, walk it forward, over to this berry bush, blueberries. Keeping your core in, shoulders back. Go ahead and come on down to your knees. Drop your belly, lift it, and drop it, and lift it. Check your arms. Make sure you're not hyperextending your elbows like I just was. Soft bend elbows. Shoulder push-ups. Wide shoulders. Micro bend in the elbows. Curve, neutral, arch. So cat-cow is what we call this in yoga. And in Pilates, they also call it cat-cow. Find your neutral spine, so nice and flat through the lower back, still lifted. And we're gonna stay very small and just pulse the leg to the side, focusing on stabilizing the back, keeping those elbows pressed back. 6, 7, 8, and switch. Keep those elbows rotated back. Don't let them pop out, friends. You got it. And press back, flip your wrists over, stretch. Big deep breath. In yoga, we call this the child's pose, but you're adding a wrist stretch. We're gonna take our elbows down to the floor. Make sure they're only as far apart as that you can wrap your hands around. Yeah? Hold hands, squeeze your palms together, and press up to the dolphin pose. Drop your chest, press the floor away. Drop your chest, press the floor away. Drop your chest, press the floor away. Drop your chest, bend your knees. Little walk. Shoulders down away from your earlobes. I'm just walking my legs straight back, so I'm practicing my core center strength, keeping strong in the middle. Lifting your legs should get your buns a little bit. Balancing gets the outside of your hips. This would be what? Taking a hike in the dolphin. Take your knees on down, press it back. There's no real name for that one. Child's pose stretch. Go ahead and come on up to your belly. Sphinx arms. Your elbows are under your shoulders. Before we move on, just drop everything for a second here. Let your shoulders come way up by your earlobes. And then roll them back. Draw your chin in. Pull your legs together. They're gonna wanna escape. Okay, shoulders back, legs together. Now let's pull our pelvic floors in and then our Pilates scoop. Lengthen the back, drop it down. Legs together, pelvic floor, Pilates scoop, lengthen the back. So when I lengthen the back, I'm lifting up my belly from off the floor. Let it go. Everything's soft. Legs together, shoulders back, pelvic floor, Pilates scoop lift, lengthen the tailbone down, squeeze everything, press the floor away. We're gonna stay here now. So my pelvis is pretty much off the floor. Don't lift up your back and leave your pelvis on the floor. We wanna try for that 12 o'clock pelvis here. Here we go, bending one leg at a time. We go, bend, pulse, 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 switch. It's tiny because there's all these other layers of detail you're adding in, right? Pulse. 2, 3, 4, switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, switch. How's your pelvic floor? How's your Pilates scoop? Are you pulling your shoulders back still? Take your arms back to your ribs. Squeeze them in a few times like chicken wings. Hold those chicken wings. Pelvic floor, Pilates scoop, long neck. Press up. Modified plank. Walk. 2, 3, 4. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch. Keep trying to lengthen the lower back, tucking that tailbone underneath. Press back with tucked toes this time. Yeah, I'm pressing back with my arms. Then I'm gonna crawl my fingertips out and open my heart into the floor. Tailbone way up in the air. Good. Go ahead and take your legs through to the front, sitting down on your buns. Legs together today, or with a little personal-sized cheesecake in between if you want to do traditional Pilates. I've been experimenting a lot more with legs all the way together this year, so you can choose one. Either personal-sized cheesecake, don't smish it, don't slap it, which is nice for knee alignment, so if your knees are delicate, do that one. If you want inner thigh strength as your goal, then squeeze. Here we go, scoop it up in 3, 2, 1. While you're doing the roll downs, if your toes are coming off the floor, it means you should adjust where your feet are. You can either move them in a little bit closer or out a little bit farther. See how my feet are off the floor here? That's too far. Double time. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Stay low. Hands out, shoulders back. Long neck, little walks. Twist it, twist it, twist it. Good, lift up. Soft knees, but straight up in the air and lean it forward. Relax the neck for a moment. Big breath. Let your back melt. Rise on up. A little bit of support if you need it, just behind your tush. We want to keep this lower back upright for the leg lifts, What your back is going to try and do is lean back during these, yeah? So use your hands if you need to, shoulders back, zip it up. We'll go right leg, 2, straight leg, flex that foot, lift it straight up, and it's coming from the hip socket. Other side, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and switch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and a 2 and a inner thigh. Good. Let's roll it down to your backs. Move your mic back. All right, feet on the floor. You're going to put your feet down on the floor close enough that your toes can touch, but they're not touching feet. Thighs here are definitely lined up with your hip bones, so they're parallel. We're going to start with pulling the pelvic floor up, and then hollow out that core, release that core, relax your pelvic floor. For today, can you put one hand underneath, now let's put both hands underneath your buns. So let me show you where that is. So this is my back. There's the hard part here where my pelvis is. I want you to rest your hands here where the softness of your buttocks is, and we're gonna rock over here. So when we're doing our pelvic clock, this is my tailbone at my fingertips, and this is the top of my pelvis. With my hand underneath, when I go to 12 o'clock, I can really feel the weight come off of my hands and my pelvis press into the floor in 12 o'clock. And that's what we're shooting for here, is that your hands can give you some more information about the position of the pelvis. Okay? So hands under the soft parts of your booty. Thighs parallel. Pull in your scoop and your pelvic floor. And 6 o'clock, the lower back lifts way off the floor. Neutral, it's flat. And 12. Neutral. 6. Neutral. 12. Neutral. 6. Neutral. So 12 o'clock, the pelvis is smushing into the floor. There's almost no weight on the hands. Neutral, hands and floor is barely touched by the lower back. 6 o'clock, all your weight is onto your hands in your buns. Here we go. 12. Neutral. 6. Neutral. 12. Okay, now you're probably feeling that pelvic clock pretty well. Let's try it without being able to use your hands. So knees up above. 6. Neutral. 12. Neutral. 12. Pelvic clock exercises with the legs in the air. All right, take those feet back to the floor. We're gonna add on from the pelvic clock exercise. From 12, you're gonna engage your glutes and hamstrings to roll up to the lower back, up to the shoulders, lengthen that neck. Check your scoop. Most of us push out on the way up into this bridge, but what we want to do here is to keep the pelvic floor and the scoop in. It's not like how high can I get like it is in yoga, yeah? It's about maintaining that control through the movement. Here you go. We're rolling down. 2, 3, 1 vertebrae at a time as you go to the floor from the bridge. Lower back touches. Relax your butt. Hold that 12 o'clock. Neutral. 6. Neutral. 12. Rolling up. 4, 5. Hollow it in. Hollow it up. 8. Rolling down. 2, 3, 4. Shoulders down. 6, 7. Lower back touches. 12 o'clock. Neutral. 6 o'clock. Neutral. 12 o'clock. Roll it up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Rolling down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 12 o'clock. Neutral. 6. Neutral. 12. Come up. We're going to stay up at the top here. take those hands gently onto your tummy. Make sure that your scoop is in. Squeeze your glutes. Push. Push. Don't lose your neutral spine. Push. 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 2 more. Roll it down. Long lower back. 12, neutral. 6, neutral. 12. Knees to your chest. Give them a hug. Rock side to side just because it feels good. All right. Float those knees up. So in Pilates, because we're trying usually to get your middle back to curve into the floor so that we're really strengthening there, the beginner position of the legs for all of your back exercises is with your knees above your belly button, yeah? So you can have them at 90 degrees. You can bring them closer if that helps you. And you notice how with the weight of the legs here, your back is already almost in 12 o'clock, right? It's very close. Beginner, intermediate, advanced intermediate. I think all the rest of this out here is BS. Unless you're a professional circus person, working out there is really going to mostly end up working your hip flexors and skip your abs. So try it with legs in. I'd say every semester, I usually teach like 50 people this, and probably 1 in 50 is actually getting the right thing out of those legs out. I don't even do them that way except for a laugh. So keep it close so you get more abs, right? We're here for abs. Abs up, pelvic floor, in, and we're gonna lift our head, neck, and shoulders up. Head, neck, shoulders, little bounce. Now, you should, in Pilates 100s, which is the name of this exercise, you should be looking at your own belly button. You should definitely have extra chins because you're tucking your chin in. And while you're looking at your belly button, you can really see it try to dwindle back out again, yes? If you can't see it, it's okay to put your hand on there, but keep your focus on pulling that in and up. If you wanted to do traditional Pilates breathing for this exercise, Joseph Pilates liked to do it in little pulses. It sounds like this. In, out, 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 out. Of course, he didn't like to listen to fun jams, so he did it in 5s. But since we have 8 counts, I do it in 4s. You can experiment with lengthening those legs, but don't stick your belly out. And release. Put your feet down and let your neck totally go back to slack. Yeah, just shake your head no really softly, because we don't want to be hanging on to any lingering tension in the neck. Good, and as soon as we do that, enough. Okay, bring those legs back up. We're going to do double leg stretch. Now the action of the legs is going to be 2, as in double, legs, as in legs, stretching meaning that they are bending and stretching, yeah? I would have called them extensions, but hey. Big breath in. Exhale, pelvic floor, Pilates scoop. Press your arms from the shoulders to the fingertips. Press them actively into the mat. You can feel your heart lifting and your neck lengthening. Bend your knees to your armpits. Straighten them straight up. Bend your knees to your armpits. House the pelvic floor. Bend your knees to your armpits. House your Pilates scoop. Bend your knees to your armpits. House your 12 o'clock pelvis. Bend them into your chest. Press them out with care. This is called double leg stretch. All right, hold them in. Good. Send them up. Single leg stretch. One leg bends, the other leg bends. Yes? So we're going to hollow out, of course. This one is the one, the single leg stretch is the one with 2 bounces of the chest. Here we go. We'll go up, lower, higher, down. Keep that pressure in the lower back. Don't let your tailbone push down into the ground. How's your lower back? Is it not getting down and staying down? Bring them in. Take both knees to the side. Let your body release a little bit. All right, switch sides. All right. Let's go to our sides for a bit. All right. Let's take this bottom thigh forward. If you're on a regular shaped yoga mat, you want to think about your back being near the back edge of your mat and your knee being up here in the front with the shin alongside the front of the mat. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I often see people with their legs too far down, and I want your bent knee to be all the way up at 90 so that your lower back is absolutely in a flat position, yeah? We're gonna start with the straight leg on top today. We're gonna talk about this muscle right here on the side. So we're gonna drop the leg down, go ahead and put it on the floor. Feel your whole weight of your leg pull your hips unsteady. And then hike it up with your back. Feel your waist now go down to the floor and your butt's here. And you'll feel a tightness in your lower back above your pelvis. That's too far up. So you want your weight to be right on the side of that hip. We're gonna hold that still. Lifting in, 12 o'clock pelvis. We're gonna lower the leg and lift it up. Don't let your ego take over because everybody wants to do this. This ain't it, yeah? I wanna not use my big muscles of my lower back and my glutes. I want you to just use gluteus medius and minimus. Gluteus medius and minimus are 2 fan-shaped muscles that attach to the outside of your hip, like that. One's bigger and one's smaller, so it's like 2 little fans right on top of each other there. And they are what stabilize your knee. So they're super important when you're walking from one step into the other. They keep you from dropping your hip so that your hips stay level. And if you do it really big, you're gonna start working up here in your back, and I want you to feel it right on the very side of your hip. Make sure your knee and toe is pointed straight forward. My leg is straight. And also check whether your leg has drifted forward. It often drifts forward because your tensor fasciae latae muscle, which is a hip flexor, is trying to take over because it's pretty strong. But we want to strengthen these wee guys, these wee dudes. Doot, 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 doot. Okie dokie. Now let's rotate that thigh. Rotate the thigh and the hip socket. Good. While you're doing that motion, we're adding into these gluteus medius and minimus are still stabilizing, but now you're adding in the external rotator. So piriformis there's 6 of them altogether. Piriformis is the most famous. And it basically pulls the outside of your thigh bone into the bone underneath your butt. How's your core? Good. All right, let that go. Bring it forward. Let's switch sides. Come on down. All right. Let's check that bottom leg is way far forward. Top leg, we're gonna send it too far just to feel that openness. And then we're gonna bring it way too far up. Feel the tension in your abs when you're way too far up. Find the spot in the middle. Make sure that leg is straight down from your body. Reaching out through your hip. So I'm feeling like I'm trying to rub my heel on the wall down there, yeah? Hips are staying perfectly still, engaged. Oh, I'm a little too far out. And I'm just lifting from the side of my hip here. Keep that heel underneath your butt. Don't let it stray forward. So these again are your gluteus medius and minimus. It's normal. A lot of us feel very different on the two sides of our hips. So for some reason today, this side is way easier than the other side. The other side is super sore. All right, let's rotate the thigh in the socket. Recheck your Pilates scoop, check your pelvic floor, check your alignment. So what's the name of these? I don't have a name for these, but they're definitely physical therapy exercises that I got for hip alignment, knee safety, and also to protect my SI joints because I have SI joint injuries. All right, bring that forward. Put that one super high. We're gonna stretch the bottom one low. And we'll just lift up that bottom thigh, inner thigh. So your inner thigh, your adductors are working. How's your Pilates scoop and your pelvic floor? All right, lay that down. Top both knees forward now. Good. All right, here's the doozy. So these come from Froggy office chair. These are in both Pilates and physical therapy trainings. And you notice that the temptation is to pull back with your hips, to kind of toss your legs up into the air. And we want to avoid that. We want the torso to stay still, lifted, pulled in, and we're just rotating. The other thing I often see when we're in class together is that as people open to the froggy position, they hike their knees in to avoid using that external rotator. So keep it down so that you're on the same plane. Yeah. Good, stay right there, a little pulse. That'll definitely feel your external rotators working. Boop, 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 boop. Send it out on the diagonal so you look like a mermaid. I'm gonna take my arm up in the air and I'm just gonna make a big slice, yeah? So this slice is representing the plane that my spine is on. And you can see then that my legs are not in line with my spine here at all. I want them to be really far forward so I have a super, super flat back, 12 o'clock, yeah? I'm gonna lift that top leg, parallel, turn it out, bring it down. Front, parallel. Oh my goodness, you guys, I don't know what I did this week, but I'm sore. So I'm with you if you're sore too, I feel you. Tell me that you need me, then you go and cut me down. Wait, tell me that you're sorry. All right, let's take top leg straight, bottom leg bent, and we're going to bend it and straighten. Now the tricky part here is that there's all kinds of wobbling that wants to happen. So I want you to look at your leg and really bend it so the knee and the ankle are going to stay on the same horizontal plane the whole time. And use your gluteus maximus to keep that thigh back, even though your core is strong. All right, keep it bent, push back, push back. So your thigh's going back, but don't move your hip. That's glute maximus. Let's switch sides. All right. We're going to start with our top leg bent. And if you want a little number 4 stretch here, you can get both done at the same time by holding onto that ankle and letting this stretch out your external rotators. And I'll lift. Adductors, the adductors. Those are the muscles in your thigh that lift or pull the thigh bone to your center line. All right, switch. Both knees forward. Froggy office chair. Remember, we don't want those thighs to creep up. We want them on the same plane. All right, little pulse. Pulse, and extend. Good, hollow out that core. Make sure one hip is on top of the other, and we go up, parallel, turn, and doesn't look a thing like me. The girl your mother always said it would be. So you could say that I'm hopeless. But that ain't the girl I want you to be. Girl that keeps me up and I see my dreams. So you could say that I love her. So I don't care what they say, it's our life. Good. We're going to top leg front, back leg in line, straight and back. Keep that thigh in line with your body. Check your core. Shoulders are pulling down. And push it back. All right. Come on up. Go ahead and come all the way up onto your sits bones. Shake your head out. And then curve. And let your arms go underneath your thighs. And take a moment and just maybe even grab your arms and just stretch your back. Let your whole back curve back. Enjoy it. Big breath. All right, curve that body back and lift it up nice and straight. Feel yourself walk your toes forward until you feel your sits bones on the floor. And then lift your legs up the floor for the balance point. That's a Pilates term. It's where we're balancing on or just behind our sits bones with a straight back, toes off the floor. Go ahead and put your toes on the floor because we're going to slow motion 1 to rolling like a ball. So I'm going to tip my pelvis from upright, and tip it back, curving and hollowing in the whole time. And then I'm going to roll onto my back, up to my shoulders, come back to the sits bone. And the key part to making rolling like a ball effective is that you're going to lengthen that tailbone and pull your shoulder blades down and back, and that helps to serve as your brace. That way you can roll like a ball without your toes touching. Here we go, let's try it. Keep it tight, meaning keeping your knees in. Pulling up through your Pilates floor, and we're gonna curve to roll back to your shoulders and come back up to the top, and ding! Stick your chest out so that your feet don't touch the floor. Curve. Rolling like a ding ball. Curve. Rolling like a ball. Good. Go ahead and grab those feet. Lift up. Press forward over them. All right, grab those ankles. Seal, just like rolling like a ball, but we're gonna clap our feet. Clap, and balance at the top. Clap your feet again. Clap. Ding, clap. Curve. Ding, clap. Notice in your back whether it feels like you're rolling straight up and down your spine, which is the goal, or if you feel like you're going side to side in some way. We want to try and be even left and right. If you're getting stuck in either of these activities, it means that your back is not staying round when it hits the floor, and you've got to tuck to 12 o'clock and hold that more. Let me demonstrate what that looks like. The rest of you keep doing your rolling like a ball or your seal. But if you want to see why am I getting stuck, here's why. If you curve and your back flattens, then you get stuck before your shoulders. Or that can happen on the way back up. Say I'm staying curved down, and I come back up, but my back flattens up, I lose my momentum into the floor. So when you're coming back up, make sure you stay in 12 o'clock until your feet are about to touch the floor, and then we straighten. Ding! Sometimes it takes a while to build that coordination and strength, so no worries if it hasn't happened yet. We're gonna spread our legs out at 90. I'm really only at 90. I know my camera makes it look like I'm doing the splits already. This ain't the splits yet. Okay, please take your knees and twist them in for a moment. I know I never say that. We're gonna lift our knees up and rotate them out, extend the legs, bend them as they come in. So if I turn, maybe this is helpful. It's not a good day to wear all black. There we go. You can see how my leg is going up and around. All right, both legs are circling out. Sitting up tall through your core. Good. Find a place where you can sit on both hips. Drag them back with your hands a little bit and squeeze them back. 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 Stay right there. Zip your core up. Let your arms come out. If you start locking up in your hip flexors, I want you to just jiggle your legs so that the hip flexors release. All right? This is going to be a little while. Scoop in and up. Shoulders. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Reverse. Shoulders. 2. Shoulders. Really shrug them for this one. 6, 7, 8. Ow! And squeeze them up. Release. Okay. Tug those shoulders down and stick your chest up. I'm going to turn to the side. Chest, 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 chest. Shoulders back and together, chest up. Good. Stay right there. Circle the arms without moving the shoulders. Circle the arms without moving the shoulders. And now bend your arms, drop your hands down, and do a robot. Do, 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 do. Man, my computer's been really into this song this week. I've heard it a lot. Okay, lift those shoulders up just a little bit. I'm sorry, shoulders stay down, lift your elbows up. All right, press it out. Elbows up. We're gonna twist. 2, and center. 2, we're gonna twist. 2, turn your head towards the hand that's forward. Twist, 2, center. 2, shake those legs out if they're getting tight. Twist, 2, add a saw. This is called the saw in Pilates. Up 2, and center. Spinal twist, that's what it's called. Lean is the saw. Come upright. And we'll go twist, and saw, and up, and centered, and twist. How's your Pilates scoops? When you lean, pull that back shoulder down, up, and center. Drop your arms, and twist, and saw. You should feel your lat on this side pulling down. So if you don't feel your lat, it means you're leaning over That's not the goal. I want you to lift the shoulder up instead. There we go. Twist, 2. Lift that shoulder up, back, 2. Center, 2. Twist, lift, center. Twist, lift, back. Twist, lift, center, front. Twist, lift, center, front. Twist, lift, center. Twist. Last one. Take those hands down. Good job, everybody. We're going to tuck our legs in 4th position, seated. Okay, both knees flat to the front. This foot is pointed. And we're going to just rotate around. 2, 3, 4. And now bring your hip back to the floor, and then your waist, ribs, shoulders, neck, head. We'll go hip pushes, waist pushes, ribs pushes, shoulders, head. Hip returns, waist returns, rib returns. This is from Martha Graham dance training. I don't know what the name is, but I can ask. All right, we're going to come all the way around. We're going to put our fingertips down, and we're going to take that leg back with the glutes. They do this exercise also in bar method training, but it comes from dance. Well, bar method comes from dance. This comes from modern dance. How's your scoop? Can you lift your arms up and hold? Can you look around yourself? So it's sides. Okay, you're starting with both hips on the floor, and we're going to twist around from the bottom to the top. Twist. 2, stomachs in. 4, hip down, waist down, ribs down, breast down. All right, lift. Wrap it around and back. Good, wrap it around front. You did it! Make a big stack of your legs all wonky and lean into a stretch. Switch your legs. And that, my friends, is our workout for today. So let's take a hot second to review the names of the muscles that we focused on in the legs and hips, since that's our focus for today. So we talked about gluteus medius and minimus, both of which live on the very side of your hip. So they attach on the greater trochanter, and they're like fans, a bigger fan and a smaller fan. And their job, gluteus medius and minimus, is to abduct, a BD as an abduction. So they take your thigh bone away from the center line. We also talked about the inner thigh muscles that pull in. Those are the adductors. They add your thigh back to the center. We didn't talk about much the tensor fasciae lata, which is a hip lifter. It's a hip flexor that kind of goes diagonally here. But I did mention it, so I'm going to say that. Gluteus maximus, you all know it's the big round thing behind you. Its job is to pull your thigh towards the back. And we talked about the external rotators, which go diagonally here. Yeah, so they attach underneath your sits bones, and they wrap around also to that greater trochanter, which is the bony part on the outside of your thigh. And they take that thigh bone and they pull it around and out. So an external rotator will take my knee and rotate it open. office chair froggy. And they're under the butt. I like to call them the underbutt chisel muscles because they're the ones that live in that space between your booty and your thigh. So that was our hip detail today. We did single leg stretch, double leg stretch, 100s from Pilates. We did spinal twist and saw. We did bridge and pelvic clock. And then non-Pilates exercise, we did monster walks, we did bear walks, we did those leg lifts on the side and the bends on the side. We did the the fourth position seated twists that I didn't have a name for. So that's what I'm remembering off the top of my head. All right, let's do a checkout, everybody. Any more questions are welcome. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Yay, good. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. Lillian, Twanika, I'm glad you're here. Missed you yesterday. Ahmed, thanks for coming and letting me know I was on mute. Noreen, thanks for the good questions.